Now people can hear me. Let me make sure you guys are going out. Let's see here. Yes. Built-in speakers, and I show you. Oop, wrong one. Headphones, and I show you. There we go. All right. So once again, if you all three could introduce yourselves. I'm sorry, I had my settings wrong.
No problem. Hi, I'm Amanda Jensen. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a founding member of Paper Doll Ensemble, and I am a flea-based lighting designer.
Hello, my name is Grayce Hoffman. I use she, her pronouns. I am also a co-founding member of Paper Doll Ensemble, and I am our external relations manager. I also do PR and communications with other companies in the city, mostly with 11th Hour Theater Company.
Great.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Brown-Lewis, and I go by the pronoun she, her. I formerly used to host a lot of film and theater networking events around the Philadelphia area. I do manage music artists and some actors, and I am a scientist by trade, and that's what I've been doing for almost 20-something years now.
All right, so now that we have all the guests and we all have audio, juggling tech and hosting and remembering to do everything at the same time is not a fun thing to do, even if it is one's strong suit. So I've fixed it all now. Grayce and Amanda, would you tell us a little bit about your project that you have coming up? What is it called? I've lost my piece of paper.
Sure. Yeah, it is our virtual cocktail carnival. So every year we have a fundraiser, we like to call it, not a fundraiser, because we're having a party. And usually we have it in a restaurant, and we have a bar and balloon animals and face paint, and it's like a carnival with alcohol. So who doesn't love that? And this year, a pandemic can't get us down, so we are taking our cocktail carnival online. So it's going to be a Zoom event, and we're super excited. We have our wonderful costume designer, Scott McMaster, in his drag persona, Miss Elaine, and he's going to be hosting the evening. Amanda, you want to talk a little bit about the drinks?
Yeah, we crafted a cocktail for the event. It's called the Cinnamon Spice and Everything Nice, and it's kind of like a spicy take on a Fitzgerald. So it's a gin-based cocktail. You can make it home. It's super easy. It's like this cinnamon brown sugar syrup that you can make, gin, bitters, and lemon juice, and it comes together. A little seltzer, because we think bubbles make everything fancy. And it's delicious. And so we've put out a bunch of videos on how to make the syrup, how to make the cocktail, how to make the non-alcoholic version of the cocktail, so that everyone, if they feel so inclined, can make this cocktail to drink with us during the event. Or really, you could drink anything you like. You can drink a root beer, you can drink a Manhattan, you can drink a bottle of wine. We don't care. We just want to have fun. And in the past, we've done the event like at cocktail hours. So like that's like what we're trying to kind of do this time as well. So that's I
heard you say fundraiser. Is that your influence, Amanda? I know you like to do puns.
I actually can't take credit for that. Gracie's always called it the fundraiser.
This is why we founded a company together, though, because our brains are like on the same wavelength.
We're all linked.
Yes.
Do you have a link for the fundraiser? Therefore, I can put it out to all of our socials.
Absolutely. It's paperdollensemble.com, and you'll get all the information on there. It's totally free to RSVP. We know that times are weird and tough, and so we don't want financials to be a barrier for anyone to come and party with us. There are opportunities to support us financially if you're able, including an awesome raffle. Our grand prize is worth over $300. So you can enter the raffle, just $10 for 2 entries, which is really awesome. You also can make a one-time donation, and we also have some swag available. Our third co-founding member, Sarah Vaness, is an incredible designer in her own right. And so she has made some posters that are based off of our last 2 shows, Mary, Mary, Quite Contrary, and This Is How Girls Die. So you can get that in an 8x10, and also some paper doll scrunchies are available for sale. So if you want to get some paper doll swag and, become a doll yourself, you can do that.
Awesome.
We also have some magic. So Lindsay Noel took over our Instagram yesterday, and she is going to be doing an interactive magic trick during the event. So even though we're on Zoom, you're still going to have your mind read by Lindsay. She did an incredible trick on our Instagram yesterday.
Yeah.
And that trick is gone. You
It's
can't
gone.
see it anymore because, magic is fleeting. But her and her partner, Francis Minotti, who was just on Penn and Teller Fool Us, he fooled them the first time that he was on the show. So they invited him back. Didn't fool them the second time. But we
No,
still
but
love them.
His trick is beautiful.
It's
It was
awesome. So you
beautiful
should
trick.
check that out. But they were at our last cocktail carnival, and we were like, we still need magic. So Lindsay made this really awesome witchy trick because our next show is going to be all about witches. And so she did something themed for us. And we'll also submit from our workshop because we're a devised theater company. We're creating our work. Oh no, my internet connection is unstable.
Yeah,
Can you hear
we
me?
lost
hear
the
you.
movement of your video, but we can still hear you just fine.
I can't. Yeah. Oh, he might be back.
Okay.
But as Grayce was saying,
Sorry,
yeah,
friends.
our next, we create everything from the ground up. So we've been working this summer. We, instead of having our in-person workshops like we have in the past, we had virtual workshops with a whole new ensemble that we put together, exploring this, the connectivity between witches and witchcraft and witch hunts and women in politics. And some of the content that we will be showing at the cocktail carnival came out of this workshop. And we went to our ensemble members and we're like, this piece you made is great. Can you do it, like produce it officially for the cocktail? So you're going to be able to see some of the work we did over the summer with our ensemble. And I'm really excited about a lot of the pieces.
Awesome. Well, thank you for bringing that to us, and we'll share around Paper Doll Ensemble's website, and hopefully folks will be inspired to attend. And let's just talk a little bit about some of the changes that have been happening to Philadelphia area theater, just because the nationwide warning bells on coronavirus have been really loud this morning. Jesus, that's a big mug. Sorry, Cheryl.
That's like as big as your head. I love it so much.
So yeah, anyway, I listen to the news every morning, and this morning, 8 officials, were quoted in the national news, including our own Philadelphia officials, talking about, the coronavirus. This is a third wave, this is definitely a third wave, warning, don't go visit your family, don't leave your house, stop it. I think if they could get in front of us all and be like, hey, they would, but so a lot of us work in events, and we're in situations where people gather typically, and so how's that been transitioning for you guys? What's it taken to do any sort of pivot and bring things virtual?
Yeah. Well, as we've mentioned, we're a devised theater company, and so essentially we create all of our shows from scratch by improvising together. And how the heck do you improvise when you can't be in the same room? And so we talked a lot about what we were going to do in terms of our workshops, and if we were going to keep developing or if we were just going to pause until the pandemic was over, when we thought it was going to be 2 weeks. Remember those days?
Yeah. I remember when I thought that we were going to be back to production by November.
Oh, yeah. When people were like, oh, my gosh, is Halloween going to happen? And I was like, guys, chill out. Halloween's totally fine. It's March. False. So we decided, screw that. We're going to together. And so what we've been doing is trying to figure out how that works in a virtual environment. And it's actually been really successful. So we've focused a lot on our research, which is a component that we always really value. But this time we're like, all right, we're going to have some big discussions about, witchcraft and politics and how those could intersect. We're going to come up with some prompts and questions that we're really curious about. And then we're going to go away, write some weird stuff, and come back and share it. And so we did a combination of writing prompts and then actual improvisation via Zoom. And we're going to be releasing some videos from our workshops of those like completely improvised moments. And they ended up being pretty hilarious. And who knows, they might end up in the final product of our show. But we have a really incredible team. Dr. Marsha Ferguson from Penn is improvising with us. Scott, who is going to be hosting, it has been improvising. And so we haven't like pigeonholed anybody into like you're a performer, you're a designer. And so Donovan Lockett, Evelyn Swift, myself and Sarah and Taiwo Sokan. We just like have an incredible group, Laurel Johnson. And so we're like, all right, it's Halloween and an old witch appears in your mirror, go. And they like have a ridiculous conversation. And it actually has brought so much joy during this time where connectivity is really hard that we can still kind of create something beautiful together. So actually the virtual sphere has been really successful in creating a lot of art, and it's great because it's so easy to record. So we're like, all right, we have this forever.
Yeah,
awesome.
It's been really great. We were very, I wouldn't say worried and concerned are not the right words, but we weren't sure how it was all going to work. But we're like, we wanted to at least try and push forward and like do the workshop because we had conversations about like what this could be. So we just jumped in and we're like, this is what we think it's gonna be. And our first 3 days were just all discussions of this research, and they were really good discussions, and people brought more research and different views to the table, which really gave us like all of this rich material to pull from. And we didn't really start writing until like that last day, and it was a lot of fun. And like Grayce said, we didn't pigeonhole anyone. We brought everyone into the workshop on a divisor contract and just like, everyone's going to write, everyone's going to be involved in the discussion, everyone can make content. We don't know what role you may be playing, but you're going to be with us for this whole period. And like, it's been really great to just like try a bunch of things and try, for me, since I'm a designer, try new things and write and like participate in this like creation process, which I have in the past, but more on like the sidelines of like observing. So I thought it's been really great. It's something I've looked forward to, meeting with these people all summer. Like, ooh, we're gonna have a workshop. So excited to see all these amazing artists for like 2 hours. So
it's a super bummer that we can't perform in front of people for who knows how long. Like, not gonna lie, that sucks. So, you know, obviously we want to wait until it is safe and it makes sense. I know people, when the sports venues were like, you can have 10% capacity. Like, bring theater back.
I've been enjoying, you know, as somebody who like stays up on this stuff, I've been enjoying all the people who like have no idea and are like, oh, why aren't students in school right now? Like, I think they're just slow. Like, they're just being lazy. Teachers are being lazy. I'm like, What is wrong with you? Ugh. Teachers aren't being lazy. They want to teach in person more than we want them to teach in person. You know, just chill out, people. I'm sorry, I lost you there, Jay.
It's a pandemic, people. It's a pandemic.
Yeah,
calm down.
correct. Yes.
Yeah. Calm the heck down. You know, like we don't. People don't want to be in their homes. They don't want to be stuck at home. Just chill out. Let things happen.
Wear a mask all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did an unofficial poll on my personal Facebook. There's those questions that go around now. And one was really good. Do you wear a mask when you go outside all the time? Yes or no? Just a simple yes or no answer. Everybody responding on my Facebook was like, yes. I have to say, you know, like I'm my personal Facebook, I'm pretty, I limit who interacts with me pretty severely. So if somebody had said no, I'd probably have kicked them from my friends list.
Like
I'm in my backyard right now.
Yeah, you're in your backyard, you know, that's all good.
I wear a mask everywhere else.
Even in my backyard, I'm in a row house, so like our backyard is only separated by a fence. I actually, you know, like when I'm talking to my neighbors, throw a mask on.
Yeah,
you
gotta.
Yeah. So.
But 10% capacity of our theater would be literally 5 people. So.
The Boot and Saddle,
people, but.
Boot and Saddle went out of, officially decided they're going out of business because 10% capacity would be 10 people. It's 15 people. It's 150 capacity venue.
Yeah, and since we perform at Plays and Players too, like in one of the things that it benefits them is that they can open their bar and sell during our shows, and like 5 people doesn't make it worth it for us or them. And I would rather wait however long it takes so that we can open up safely again than do this like fits and starts of like 5 people, 10 people.
There's a new Pfizer just announced that they did their that they have a pretty successful vaccine to a course of 2 injections, but keep in mind, folks, even Pfizer, a big company that wants to make a lot of money, said, okay, we have a 98% effective vaccine. We still need to test it. They're like, we need to get it out there for wide testing. And the testing time, and this is a company that really wants to get this product out there. They're manufacturing it even though they're not sure it's going to work. The testing timeline that they said was 60 days. So if you do this math out, 60 days to test, that's 2 months. You're going to do another 60 days, so 120 days, 4 months, before it starts getting out to providers to actually inject people with. And then another 60 days, so 180 days, before it's actually widespread enough to provide effective coverage for the population. Cheryl, feel free to jump in if I have my numbers wrong.
Nope, you are correct. And actually, Pfizer is probably the only company right now that I probably would take their vaccine. I did work on their vaccine for meningitis B back in 2012 through 2015. So I know their integrity, and I know, I can tell you that people will not rush it. We didn't rush the meningitis vaccine when, kids were dying, going to school. It was all about, what does the data say? There was no cutting corners. So yeah, it's going to be quite a while. Hopefully, and I don't think they were a part of Operation Warp Speed.
No, they specifically said they stayed out of Operation Warp Speed. And
that goes to, their integrity. Like, they will not rush it. They refuse to rush anything. Meningitis vaccine. What was that, Jay?
If it was Merck, I would never touch it.
Yeah, some people I don't trust, but yeah, when we worked on the meningitis vaccine, I mean, we worked on that for 4 years, and that was the accelerated version of getting a vaccine on market.
So even though they've been through the first couple of phases of their trials and their tests, we're at least 180 days. That's 6 months, people, before we get widespread enough vaccinations that we can go out in public and like start increasing the capacity of our venues, that kind of thing. So I hate to say that as somebody who relies on performance and events as a large part of my career, but that's what we're looking at there. Just to pivot a little bit, we'll be talking a lot about pivoting. The Philadelphia theater scene has Theater Philadelphia as a large organization, and they have their celebration event. This is the Not Barrymores. The Barrymores are eponymously the Barrymore family, which Drew Barrymore is a member of. And the Barrymores are an awards program that every year what is now Theater Philadelphia organizes to recognize folks in theater. And taking a look at how they could do that this year, Theater Philadelphia decided to do an online celebration. It's Monday, November 16th at 7 p.m. There are tickets available online, and I'm going to paste that out to all of our social media channels. Consider going. It's a great event. They'll have a lot of visuals of things that have happened and this year, and I worked on at least 3 things that people are doing videos of. They'll be talking about how we all pivoted to support activism and what's going on right now in the world. And along with that, there's Spiral Q, who has been recently plastered all over national news. They were on every video in John Oliver's weekly wrap-up show with their dancing mailboxes. So in case you didn't know, the dancing mailboxes at the Count Every Vote party are from a local production organization, Spiral Q. And they're great folks to work with, and they actually have an article in, I believe, Billy Penn. I posted it this morning, and I forget. But they have an article out discussing their what they've been doing. They've been doing production in support of activism for a long time. They actually started in the 80s. People of color-led organization, always has been, started out supporting AIDS and AIDS research and finding an end to the AIDS epidemic. So that's a pretty interesting thing. Like, we've all pivoted in different ways. This what do you call this? A video cast? A podcast? I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably more of a video cast. Podcast, kind of, the terminology is used weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Not like you can like download it onto your iPod. So, I mean, there are kids that are like voting age that were born after iPods were invented. Like, that bothers me a little bit on a like.
Do you feel old by any chance?
I don't know if it's feeling old. It just bothers me. So there are kids that don't know that the word podcast came about because we have these little I have one sitting around here somewhere. Hang on. Hold on.
The original one?
No. This is even like the 4th generation. The podcast mini. So we had these things, right? We had these things.
Wow, memories.
This has a screen, but the original iPod was the size of like a hard drive and didn't have a screen. But this has the scroll wheel. Still, this is a generation that still has the scroll wheel.
Right. Still no touch screen.
No touch screen. Yeah, we didn't know what touch screen was, kids. So
you want to trick your kid? Hand them an audio cassette. Hand the kid one of those and an audio Walkman. They're like,
good luck figuring if you had to flip it over. If it had an auto flip.
I had auto reverse. I was balling. I had auto reverse.
Me too. I would go into the arcade with my like $25 in quarters. Auto reverse Walkman on my hip. I could last like 3.
And that was waterproof. Oh man, I thought I was balling.
Yeah, it was waterproof.
Couldn't tell me nothing.
Had my quarters. I could last 3 days with 2 AA's. So this charging things every night thing was a challenge, I think, for everyone on this broadcast to get used to. Yeah. Yeah. So this poor guy. If you look at it edge on, you can see that the battery is swelling. So unfortunately, it's a little defunct. I wonder if anybody actually services these. It'd be a pretty
I would
big.
keep it as a prop. You never know when you're going to need it.
Yeah, no, that's why I keep a lot of old technology around. I
still have my old cell phone, the big, huge Nokia cell phone. I actually had a blue one.
The blue one? I had that. That was my first cell phone. I remember that phone.
Second or third cell phone, but yeah, I still have it.
I remember playing Snake on it.
Snake was amazing. Yeah, now my cell phone can literally run NES games, like, in emulation.
Right, real time gaming. Oh, speaking of cassettes.
Oh, there you go. We still have cassettes, cell phone covers, you mean, right? No,
yeah.
No kids.
But no, I still have cassettes. I still play my cassettes often.
I was impressed that we had to get a new car recently. Our car got totaled. We had to get a new car. I was actually impressed that by default from the manufacturer it comes with a CD player. I was like, who uses CD players anymore? But
you'd be surprised. I know a few people that won't let go. They just can't let it go.
My grandmother asked me if I wanted. Oh, it's true. My grandmother's moving, and she was like, "Oh, I have your favorite VHS tapes. Do you want them?" And I was like, I have no idea how I would watch them, Grandma. Like, I love Hercules, but I can watch it on Netflix. She's like, "What's Netflix?"
We've been doing for an organization I work for. We've been doing movie nights, and the head of the organization is this older gentleman, and he keeps telling us, well, the office is closed, so we only go in there if we need to make an appointment or we absolutely need something. And it's only in Center City, so it's not like a real hard reach for most of us that work for the organization. But most of us just don't want to go in. So he keeps telling us, well, go in and go in my bottom drawer in my file cabinet. He has file cabinets. And I have a whole stack of DVDs there of movies that we could show. And the guy at the org that organizes the movie nights, he's doing them via Zoom, and he's like, John, I can't. I don't have a way to play a DVD, and even if I did have a way of playing a DVD, I can get the digital file from the library for free. So no. So
yeah, I just got some new equipment in my lab, and they come with DVDs and CD-ROMs for the actual like software, and I was like, oh snap! None of our laptops or computers have a CD player.
I had a similar problem. I took Italian lessons 2 years ago, and they're like, you need this textbook, and they're like, and it comes with a CD for all the videos we had to watch for class, and I'm like, I can't watch these. Like, I have no way
to an external drive. I always keep one external drive because you never know. You
never know.
Well, our professor like uploaded all the videos into a Google folder, which was great because like a bunch of us are like, we can't do like this. We don't have this.
We don't have this technology. It's like printers. Like anytime somebody sends me something to like fill out now, I'm like, is there a digital way to do this? Because I'm not printing something out at FedEx and going like half-hour round trip to go pick up a single piece of paper, fill it out for you, and then dropping it in the mail. No, I'm sorry. I'm just not doing it.
I think the one good thing about the pandemic, it is that it forced a lot of companies to move into the 21st century.
Yes.
Like a lot of the things I used to have to sign were like, no, you have to do a wet signature. It has to be an actual signature. I'm like, well, I'm not coming on site. So either we figure out how we can e-sign this, like, I don't know, DocuSign or, some other technology that's been out there for like 10 years. But yeah, like it took the pandemic for them to be like, oh, okay, well, we'll let you electronically sign things now. Like we should have been at that point, before. Like, wow, it's like crazy.
Especially.
Yeah, every time I go to the truck company, they want you to print it out, sign it, and then email it. Like, why don't you just have a way to electronically sign it? And
right, so you got to email it anyway.
You said, what do you mean? I said, what do I mean?
Especially now.
Man, please stop.
I mean, especially now with touch screens, like my computer that I use is a laptop with a touch screen, and when I go to DocuSign, I can literally like
actually sign
my name. Yeah, so it's like you're getting my real signature.
I love my iPad with the pens. It's awesome.
Getting my picture. So
yeah, a lot of the
Cheryl, I've never heard a wet.
Wet sign? Wet sign is it's a
signature. I hate that.
It's a very common phrase in legalese, just because I guess the ink,
The ink used to be wet, so when you would wipe it, it would actually come off, and you knew it was an actual signature.
Black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that personal thing, but when I signed my prenup with my husband, we had to go to the office and we had to sign it in the presence of the lawyer, like all of these things.
Oh,
and we had to initial each page that we read.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like that still for notaries, right? Like you still have to sign in front of a notary.
Right, because then it also had to be notarized, so the notary in their office notarized it and then sent it to my lawyer, and so they have a copy, his lawyer has a copy, I have a copy. There was like 4 copies we all had to sign in blue ink. Has to be in blue ink.
Right, so that way you can tell which one's the copy.
Yep. But there's 4 signed copies in blue ink.
Not that you can't photocopy in color anymore.
Right,
but
now, well, and that was the thing with one of my first companies that I worked with out of college. It had to be blue ink because at the time you couldn't copy in color, so they would know if you copied it, it was always in black and white. But now, if you scan that bad boy, it looks like the real version.
So we're talking about old technology, kids, like all old technology, and we're going out over new technology. I know. Like, what are we talking about? Like, what do you mean microfiche? What is microfiche?
Oh
This is what we dealt with as kids and young adults. Now you got to deal with your parents being on Facebook. I'm sorry.
Right.
So
different problems.
Different problems, different generational problems. I'm going to do a really rough transition because I'm not good at segue. But speaking of generational problems, the reason I brought up Spiral Q is because they've been working on a project imagining the topic of today's whole entire broadcast, a new world without police. And like we've been talking around. We've had a bunch of people around, talking about imagining a world without police. What does it look like? What does defund the police mean? It means defund the police. Okay, like I don't know how much it means defund the police. Like maybe I'll drop some actual text in later where I can say defund the police, and I'll just reveal text defund the police.
That's good.
Like it doesn't mean anything super complicated. It's not hard to talk about. And in the post-game analysis of this election, we've got a lot of very old school Democrats talking about defund the police, lost so-and-so the election or made these votes not. No, it wasn't defund the police. It wasn't progressive ideas that killed the election for certain Democrats. It was the god-awful gerrymandering and election fraud that the Republican Party has been doing for the last 30 years. 30 years they've been literally designing out a world where Democrats cannot win in local or less than national elections. The fact that Joe Biden won by, I think we're up to like
close to 5 million.
Yeah, we're up to. Thank you for having the number.
My husband and I were just talking about it this morning, so that's the only reason. But yeah, he's up to like 5 million now.
He's up to 5 million votes, and not all the votes have been counted. And yes, not all the votes have been counted. And no, that's not fraud. It always takes us this long to count the votes. Jesus.
It also takes this long to certify everything too. Like just because it gets called doesn't mean it's certified. So it takes time to count everything, and then it has to get certified, and then it's official.
Right.
And we also had 60 million mail-in votes this time, so that's a lot.
And they're still counting Georgia, and Georgia's probably going to be a recount, but Joe Biden is already ahead by 14,000 votes in Georgia, is what I saw last night.
Georgia is going to be a runoff election too. Very important, especially if you imagine a world without police. It's very, very. I probably don't have the reach to reach Georgia, but if any of you do, please contact the people you actually know in Georgia and be like, hey, look, I know you just went to the polls. You're going to have to go again. You really have to go again. You have to prove that this isn't as crazy as everybody is making it out to be. People like Stacey Abrams should be in government. They stole an election from a black woman, and they're just letting it sit like she shouldn't have been elected. That was 4 years ago.
Right. Still not healed over that one.
I swear there's.
Oops, sorry. I was going to say the voter suppression for that election was just absolutely ridiculous. Her opponent was, I forgot what his role was.
He was the attorney general.
He was in charge of elections.
Yes.
I'm this is a conflict of interest. You are not, you can't do both of these things fairly. Of course this is going to feel suspect because your hand is all over this.
Yeah.
I'm going to vote for myself because I love myself and my. Is that okay with myself? Yeah, we all agree. Wait a minute. First base, Bugs Bunny. Second base, Bugs Bunny. Third base, Bugs Bunny. Wait a minute, Bugs.
Why not?
And during the election, he was like, Stacey who? What?
Sometimes I want to shake these politicians dude, we can actually see you, right? Yeah. We see you doing dirt. We all can see.
Well, that's the disappointing part is that we see them and everyone else sees them, but what we see and what some Republicans see are completely different. I don't know how that's possible.
My question is, if it's fraud, how come nobody's getting arrested?
That's a good
Because
question.
some people are okay with a level of fraud that affects them.
There's levels to fraud? Oh, okay.
No, like if it benefits them, there's levels to it. It benefits them, of course.
It is a matter of who it benefits at the end of the day, right. I think. I think
if it
that
benefits the majority, then they're going to be okay with it.
But they're and
minority, then they're not going to be okay with it.
But when young people see that kind of stuff, 18, 19-year-olds, they start feeling like, well, why am I voting? And as an adult, I don't really know how to explain it. Like, yeah, I want you to vote. Your vote counts. And then you put your vote in, and then this stuff happens, and nobody goes to jail, and nobody gets accountable for it. So how do you explain to a young person, like,
and then
no, can't.
Well, there's a really good there's a really good educator and activist, Ant Smith, here in Philadelphia. If you follow national news or Philadelphia news, you know he was arrested on federal charges a couple of weeks ago. He was just released on Monday on bail, but he still faces federal charges. And what they're charging him with is they're charging him with arson on a police vehicle because they say that they have video of him throwing paper towards a vehicle that was on fire.
So, yeah.
I'm pretty sure arson is when you start a fire.
Start the fire,
now,
right.
That's what I thought.
Already started. I'm an art student.
You gotta throw out those technical definitions. He didn't, Billy Joel said, we didn't start the fire. I didn't do it.
I literally didn't do it. It's okay. No.
It was already on fire when I got there.
Yeah, was this one of the police cars set on fire by their own flashbang?
Yeah, it's possible. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who's really the arsonist?
They shoot each other by accident all the time, so it's possible.
Yeah. So anyway, and he's always active in the Philadelphia scene. He is an educator. He's I believe middle school history teacher. In addition to being like a really great activist, really great guy in general. I mean, this is a political hit. Like, this is just straight up a political hit. Like, he is huge in the defund the police movement. He's huge in the imagining a world without police. What's that?
All right, I'm driving and someone something really, really stupid. I'm going to run them over with my truck. And I'm like, please don't do that.
Oh, yeah, no, don't.
Driving an 18-wheeler, for those who don't know, if you're new.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Sorry, I didn't do your intro, Jay. If you want to introduce yourself, your pronouns, and what it is you do, you can feel free.
I'm easily forgettable. JCB, I'm a photographer, videographer, longtime friend of James, part-time activist. I want to get more involved, but that's it. Professional truck driver, which translates to don't run anybody over all day long. That's all I really do, and I deliver stuff.
I would like okay, so I hate to harp on like things that are advantages. Like, I have advantages in this life. I'm pretty privileged to be like a middle class American. It allows me to broadcast my message. It allows me to amplify other voices, stuff like that. But one of the advantages of getting a newer car is that they're really effing safe to drive. And I'm wondering how soon all of those advantages are going to move into the truck driving industry. I know a lot of truck drivers are. I feel you on a new car. I got a new car. I got a 2020 Camry, which I absolutely love my car. And a lot of the stuff that I have in my truck, well, not this one, this is a big cab.
Like if you leave the lane, like if you're dozing off, the truck will steer you back in the lane. If I'm riding too close to somebody when I'm doing cruise control, the truck will automatically brake. And they're already putting those in cars now. So they're starting to implement a lot of the technology that's in cars into trucks now. And a lot of the fleet within the next 2 or 3 years is going to go all electric, which is going to be a big kick in the nuts to the diesel fuel industry. I don't know how that's going to translate. But I'm sure there's some angry corporation out there ready to stop it, like they tried to stop electric cars. But so far, they're making a change. But I don't think that trucks should be completely autonomous, because I think you need that human element, because human drivers do very, very stupid things, which I don't understand.
Yeah.
And I don't think a robot or an algorithm can factor that in, because we're unpredictable creatures. We just are.
Yeah, it's true. And I was gonna say, like, the only thing I've noticed while driving our car is that, like, I don't know how it would react to somebody like literally blowing a light or something like that and just suddenly being in front of me. I don't know that there's a way for it to react to that, but I can see down the road and see the whole intersection. The car can't necessarily predict that somebody's going to jump a red light or something like that. But those changes are super valuable. Go ahead.
When we have all self-driving cars, then all the cars can just talk to each other, and they'll know, and you'll just hop in and then go to sleep and wake up, and you'll be wherever you want to be.
Well, I keep saying like that. I keep saying they should be like parts of your house. Like, you have a little room you can go into, and like you can sit down, have your coffee, like watch TV, and the room will know where you need to go for your next appointment. And it'll just like pop off your house and then like drive to wherever the heck you need to go, and then it docks up with the other rooms that are part of the meeting, and then a door opens up and you walk out, and there you go. I don't know. Maybe I watch too much sci-fi.
Yeah, I
still
was
waiting
just
on
thinking
the
the same
flying
thing.
cars like Jetsons. Like, I just want mine to fold up in a briefcase and I can take it inside or something.
I'm not really for flying cars, because I drive a lot, and I don't want people that put makeup on at 95 miles an hour flying above my head at 800 miles per hour.
I would assume that it would have autopilot at some point. Like, hopefully they're not like flying this car.
800 miles per hour, 2,000 feet above my head. I don't want you trying to be on the ground.
I once saw somebody reading a book, like literally had a book open.
I've seen that.
Like, I don't know how. Like, we tell you not to text, but like, hey, the book sounds great.
Not to read text. That might be helpful.
I think the worst thing I've seen in almost every state is the mayor or woman that drops something, whether it's a phone, lipstick.
My God.
Kind of duck down, and they're not looking at the road, but they're still. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to die. Oh my God. Like, all you see is knuckles at the wheel. You don't see any face. Like, where's his head? Where's his head? Where's his head? Oh my God. Oh my God. Then they get there like, oh. They're surprised that there's something in front of them. Like, dude, you literally weren't looking at the road for like 89 feet just now.
Crazy.
Oh my God. The stuff you see when you're in the truck is just like, oh, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it.
Not today. No, not today.
People tailgate fuel trucks. Like, you're tailgating a large canister that has fuel in it. There's a big sign with an explosion and body parts. There's a warning label. Don't tailgate him.
No. I think 2020 has taught us that people do not whatsoever, heed warning signs whatsoever.
No. Sometimes this is like a really, really evil pandemic. Like, if it was like Ebola or something that like flesh eating, we would be screwed, because
people will still try to have their parties.
Corona is horrible, of course, and I feel bad for people like that. But if it was a lot worse, most of us would be totally screwed. Mm-hmm. Because we can't even do something as simple as wear a piece of cloth to protect our faces. I'm just saying, it's really frightening.
Not at all.
One of the nice things about the election is to have somebody on a national stage saying, you know, it's not political, just wear an effing mask. And it's not.
Right.
It is not political.
It's really not. It's a health issue.
Like,
It's also amazing to hear somebody say it's not real, and then boom, 1 week later he gets it. Okay.
yeah.
So much for not real.
I'm so tired. I'm so tired of not having the pushback when you know, people falsely say something is not real, or, you know, speak directly against science, and having people on a national level speaking against science. And like, yo, I get it. Anthony Fauci did say don't wear a mask for like the first 2 weeks because it was the best advice he could give. Like,
he said that because he didn't want there to be, one of the reasons that was like, don't wear masks, was because they didn't want there to be a run on N95 masks when health professionals needed those masks to protect them and their patients. And that's one of the many reasons in which he said that.
Right.
No one wants to talk about that. Everyone's just like, he said not to do it. So
right.
He said not to do it also because there's a level of training. Like, you know, Amanda, you know, like being somebody who works with technology. Cheryl knows, being somebody who works with medical technology. Jay knows, and I don't know you as well, Grayce, but I'm sure you know too, being somebody who works with any sort of specialized technology, there's a ramp up in knowledge from I know nothing about this to I can safely use it. And a mask is, just because it goes on your face doesn't mean it's instantly safe to use or easy to use. There is a ramp up. Like, when the only reason I know as much about masks as I know about them is because I do woodwork. If you do woodwork, you have to wear a mask sometimes because you're working with noxious chemicals that will make you very sick. So I know how to wear a mask. I know not to like touch all on the inside of it and like make my face break out. I know to wash it regularly. I know to, you know, sanitize my hands before I'm putting it on. I know also, all of these things.
Like, when Fauci said, you know, it doesn't really help to wear a mask, we were also at the point where we weren't supposed to be going out anyway. Like, you're not supposed to be out, so don't go and buy all these masks that everybody else needs. Like, stay your ass at home. And then we would have been fine.
Stay your ass home.
Well, science changes.
Science changes. It's not,
you know,
we used to think
we used to think the Earth was the center of the solar system. We used to think that the Earth was flat. We used to think, like, science progresses and you're allowed to say, great, we have more data, and now we are changing our advice. Like, that's literally how science works.
One of my favorite things.
People bathe once a month. Now, don't do that. Shower a lot.
Every day. Right. Sure hands. Yeah. A lot of people didn't know how to wash their hands properly. Now Elmo can tell you how to wash your hands, and people still don't do that.
Love Elmo.
There used to be, before germ theory happened, people thought disease happened because of bad air. Like,
right.
Or you were cursed, like, oh, you're just bad. Yeah. No, you're dirty. Yeah. Wash your
Nona turned the evil eye on you, so Nona is responsible for your malady.
Therefore, we must burn her at the stake.
Yeah.
Don't you love it?
That was like that was a problem. Oh no, someone walked by my door and my milk curdled, so they must be.
They must be a witch.
Take them out.
Outside, stupid.
Well,
that's why I curdle you.
It's the last 2 minutes. Cheryl's got to drop off. Thank you, Cheryl, for being a guest. Thank you. I want to say thank you to everyone for being a guest. And I want to just do a quick wrap up of some other things that we were talking about this week. Light Thief Productions has been supporting actions by actually going out and recording and broadcasting them live as they happen. We did broadcasts about the Count Every Vote this week. We did multiple broadcasts about that just because it was such a big thing here in Philadelphia. We did broadcasts about the eviction moratorium action. There was an eviction moratorium action directed at the council members who were unwilling to extend the eviction moratorium here in Philadelphia, even though we're at the height of a third wave. Yeah, you can't just be evicting people out in the street. They need a place to shelter. Yeah. Council members, hey, we're still watching. We're still paying attention. Okay, we know things are crazy, and we're happy you're all dancing out in the street with us, calling for good democracy. But you need to protect our citizens at the same time. So, this goes along with another point I'm going to be making for a while coming, which is, we elected Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. We're still going to be pushing for defunding the police. We're still going to be pushing for housing as a human right. We're still going to be pushing for all of these things that we need. Encouraging news, I did hear this morning the Biden campaign talk about the first 100 days in office, and the very first thing that the Biden transition team plans to take up is healthcare and making healthcare a universal. They're talking about universal coverage. That universal coverage, by the way, is the kind of, this will be socially acceptable. We can talk about universal coverage without talking about universal health care, because universal health care is... So they're backing down from universal health care to say universal coverage. It's the same thing, but, it'll be achieved slightly differently. It's okay. We do all need health care. And then we also covered the Poor People's Hearing on Democracy. Poor People's Hearing on Democracy. There's a nationwide activist organization called the Poor People's Campaign. They had an action by the Octavius Cato statue talking about democracy and how poor people experience democracy. And really a lot of the quote-unquote progressive positions that are out there now are really about supporting people who are economically disadvantaged or disadvantaged because of their position as a minority in the community. And that's what Light Thief has been doing to kind of pivot. We've been trying to support all these things. And I hope everybody's happy with that. So once again, I want to say thank you to my guests. Thank you for sticking around, talking politics and general goings on and being old and technology. And
thanks for having us.
Yeah, you're welcome.
This is great. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Mild podcast, but usually so spicy. This was just fun.
Everybody's feeling good after an election.
Yeah, right?
Knowing that corporate commander lost, it's awesome, man. It's awesome. I love it.
All right. So thanks, guys. And yeah, bye, Don. I know you're not gonna. I know.
We'll see you at our.
Huh? What'd you say?
Oh, I'm gonna say we'll see you at our fundraiser for even more fun.
Yeah.
Happy Fox Sassy.
Hey James, I hope they have to remove him, man. That would be awesome. That
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've been talking online with people who are like,
my screensaver for all my computers, man. I was
Donnie being carried out like with his arm, torqued up his back would be great. Anyway, so thank you guys. Thank you for joining me. Tune in next week, and hopefully we'll have more fun coffee break chat for you guys. I'll be out of town, so it'll be a little bit rough to produce, but we'll do what we can. And I believe we have a guest scheduled for next week. I will announce a guest as soon as they're confirmed. And please support independent media. Please support our project. We have a fundraiser on Patreon, patreon.com/LightThiefProductions. Light Thief Productions is an independent media company, and we need your help. We aren't doing as many other gigs as we used to do, and we'd like to keep bringing you news and keep bringing you independent opinion, and let you know what's going on in the world. And so, yeah, please support independent media and support our Patreon. Sign up on Facebook, YouTube, Mob Crush, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, wherever you get your primary social media from. Like our page, subscribe to it. You'll get notifications every time we go live. And we go live with more than just the coffee break chat. We go live with all kinds of things happening in Philadelphia. Really appreciate you watching. It's a little bit after 11, and so we're in a little bit long. Apologize for the extra time. Hope you've enjoyed it, and yeah, please support us on Patreon. Shout out to our Patreon supporters. We do have some Patreon level that gets you a shout out and a recognition in our credits. And I would like to just personally shout out Bin Ho Lee, Minou Pourshariati, and Amanda Sylvester, who are some of our current patrons at that level. So yeah, love to have you watch this program, and tune in next week and every Wednesday at 10 a.m. And enjoy your week.